Hello everybody, it's Maikito, and before I get into the picks for this video, I don't know, for those that saw, I did the giveaway, re-roll, whatever, because the first one didn't answer, and Johan Diaz, who won last time, he did respond, so he got his membership paid for. So I just wanted to put that out there before people ask whether he responded or not, or if I'm gonna do it again or anything like that. But a decent sized slate tomorrow. Want to do an improvement after last video's picks. Was not that great of a day, but it happens, and the best I can do is just try to move on from that and try to give you guys better plays. Days like that will always happen. Anybody who does this every day knows that, and those that also follow me know that I will always bounce back from those days. So let's get straight into the picks. And the first one is Dusan Vlahovic to go higher than 0.5 goals and assists, playing at home for Juventus, going up against Cagliari. You could take just his for him to score, his anytime scorer, or just him to score in general. But I mean, you're getting good value here, just going ahead and taking the assist just to get that extra safetiness there. He's had 4 goals in 6 league games, and he's coming off a 2-goal performance versus Leipzig, in which they won 3-2 in that miraculous game. And he's been involved in 4 out of 9 Juventus goals in the league, and 3 out of 6 goals that they've scored in the Champions League. So he's been involved in almost 50% of the goals that he has scored this season, which is good. He had 11 goals and assists and 13 home starts last season. So he scored or assisted in almost every single game at home last season on average. And he's a good finisher. So far this season, he has scored 6 goals from 12 shots on target. So half of the shots, there's 50% chance that when he shoots on target, he will score. And that's not like it's just this season. Even last season in the league, he scored 16 goals from 39 shots on target. So right under half. He's a good finisher. He's clinical, which is what we want to see. He'll put away the chances that he gets. And he played against Cagliari once last season, and that was away from home. And in that game, he went over this prop. He scored in that game as well. And Cagliari have conceded 8 goals in their last 3. And even if you want to count the 4th game before that, they conceded in there as well. So they conceded 8 in the last 3 or 9 in the last 4, however you want to see it. But their defense has not been good so far. And they conceded 36 goals in 19 away games last season. They were bottom 5 defense in general. So they're going up against a weak Cagliari defense. He went over against them last season, and he's been doing good this season, and he's involved in 50% of the goals they scored, clinical finisher, and with this win, they'll be 1 point behind first place, so they need this win regardless, even after this Champions League win, so they need to go out there and get this win, and he's going to be involved. I like the odds that he will be, so I like Dusan Vlahovic to go higher than 0.5 goals and assists. My next prop is Kaoru Mitoma to go lower than 2 shots, playing at home for Brighton, going up against Tottenham. He's gone under in his last 4 out of 5 games, and in the only game he went over was against Ipswich Town, in which 1, that was a weak defense, and 2, they were drawing in that game where they should have won, so he had to shoot to try to get that win against them. And he's not a shooter. He is a winger, but he's much more of a dribbler, pass the ball or like dribble the ball and cross. He doesn't really shoot unless he's like wide open, and that's not going to happen against Tottenham. He played against them last season, and he went under in that game as well. He only had 1 shot. And so far this season, Tottenham have only allowed 8.6 shots against them, which is really low. That's actually a really good defense so far, and that's because they also hold a lot of possession. So I expect like a 50% possession in this game. So he's just not even going to have as many opportunities as he usually would have, even with the high position that he usually have. And in the game where he played and only took 1 shot, Brighton only took 6 shots as a team. So it shows you that Tottenham are a pretty good defensive team so far when it comes to the amount of shots that they've taken. And Brighton played 2 strikers. Right now they're playing, I believe, Welbeck and Ruder. Maybe Joao Pedro, likely not because he's injured. But regardless, Brighton played 2 strikers. So their attack is emphasized on passing them the ball and getting them through balls, not really on the wings with Mitoma and stuff like that. So I just think 2 is just a little too high. I am pretty the reason why I like this prop, because I'm confident that he won't get 3. If he gets bumped to 1.5, I wouldn't take it, just because I like the safetiness that you're getting here at 2. So I like Kaoru Mitoma to go lower than 2 shots. And the last player prop that I like so far is Raphinha to go higher than 2.5 attempted dribbles, playing away from home for Barcelona, going up against Alaves. He's gone over in the last 5 straight games that he started so far this season, and 7 out of the 9 in overall this season. And he averaged 3 dribbles per 90 last season. He came off the bench in about half of them. That was more due to like injuries and stuff like that. But he's been starting almost every game this season, and he's gone over in 7 out of 9 so far. And Alaves, first of all, don't keep possession, and they're weak against skillful players, like players that are good on the ball. And Barcelona keep a lot of possession, and he's a skillful player, so it's the perfect matchup as well. So he's gonna have more opportunities to get those dribbles off as well. And opposing left wing / left mids, where Raphinha is gonna play, opposing wingers that Alaves have faced have gone over this prop in 4 out of 5 games. And the reason for that, I believe, is because on that side they're guarded when it comes to like in the midfield on the attack, the opposing right mid / right wing for Alaves is Carlos Vicente, who first of all doesn't do a good job on defense. He doesn't really help too much defensively, and when he does, it's not like he's a good defender. So it's going to be easy for him to dribble past them, and that's good for him, so he can exploit that matchup and dribble past them and get easy dribbles as well. And he's had 5 days rest since the last Champions League game, which is enough for them to play their full squad. And I expect them to still play their full squad because they need this win to stay in first place. There's 1 point ahead whether they lose or not, but I don't expect them to obviously try to go out there and draw. They're going to be aggressive. They're just came off that 5-0 win to Young Boys, and he was a pivotal part to that attack. And I think 2.5 is too low, so I like this prop as well. I like Raphinha to go higher than 2.5 attempted dribbles. Just quickly want to let y'all know, I have all my codes in the description, whether that's Underdog, PrizePicks, Fliff, Cashapp, all that in the description. If you want to use those, I would really much appreciate it. I also have the YouTube membership linked as well if you want to join that. If you want to get the plays out early before other people, to try to avoid potential bumps and plays getting taken away. Totally optional, but it's also a great way to support the channel if you're interested, and I really appreciate and really want to thank anybody who supports me in any way. The first money line play that I like is the Barcelona money line going up against Alaves. I spoke about it earlier with the Raphinha pick a little bit, but they need the win to stay in first place, and they're coming off that 5-0 win against Young Boys after that 4-2 loss to Osasuna. So they came back from that loss. We're strong against Young Boys, and I expect them to stay strong against Alaves. They beat them in both games they played against each other last season, and Alaves have conceded 9 goals in their last 4 games, and that's especially dangerous, especially against the Barcelona attack, who has been extremely dangerous, who've even scored 7 goals already this season in 1 game against Valladolid. So if they're conceding this many, it's not a good sign, especially against Barcelona. And in general, I just think that Barcelona will find a way to win the game, whether it's a 1-0 win or a 2-1 win, whatever it is. They're just a much better team with too much quality. Like I mentioned, they've had 5 days rest. So that's plenty of rest, especially for a schedule so far this season in which they've been playing every 3 to 4 days. They have 5 days rest, so they have plenty of rest, so they need to go out there and be aggressive against them. They're good on the counter attack. They're good at attacking those set pieces. They're good at defending them as well. They're good on the wings with Raphinha and Yamal. They're good at through balls because they have players like Pedri, Eddie Garcia, and Casado to send those through. And this is ultimately going to come down to Barcelona being able to hold their defense tight, because they will score. It's just whether they can keep Alaves to not scoring, and I have trust in them to do that. So I like the Barcelona money line against Alaves. And then the second money line prop that I like is the Bayern Munich money line going up against Frankfurt. They're both good teams. Frankfurt is a good team, don't get me wrong, but Bayern just came off that underwhelming loss to Aston Villa in the Champions League. That was the first time, I believe, that Bayern had lost a game in the group stage in the Champions League in like 7 years or something like that. It had been a very, very long time. They should have at least drew that game, in my opinion. But either way, I do not see Bayern Munich losing back-to-back games, especially after that loss. I expect them to come back strong against Frankfurt, and I think it's going to be a good win for them. I can even see this being like a 2-0, 3-0 win, 3-1 win to Bayern. But just the money line is just the safest way to go here. Frankfurt is second place, so far they're the biggest competition, and Bayern need this win to try to push them off and try to start building that gap when it comes to point difference before going into international break. And they just have too much quality to not be able to beat Frankfurt. They have players like Olise that they picked up. Obviously, they have Harry Kane. They have Musiala. Great defenders with Upamecano, Kim Min-jae, Kimmich. They just have too much quality to lose to Frankfurt. No disrespect for Frankfurt, they have been doing good this season, but I think Bayern's going to be too much for them. And they've allowed on average 16.6 shots against them this season, which is too high. If they give Bayern that many shots, Bayern will score them. And they will outscore Frankfurt in general. So I just do not think really this comes down to Bayern losing back-to-back games after that last loss to Aston Villa, and they need that win to stay in first place in the league. So I like this prop. I like the Bayern Munich money line against Eintracht Frankfurt. Thank you everybody for watching. Quickly going over last video's picks. Like I said in the beginning, wasn't that great of a day. We had Eze who ended on 2, which wasn't bad. Bardi shot on target, he took 2, didn't hit. Leno 4.5 saves to go higher. He ended with 4. He couldn't get that 5th, which was unfortunate as well. And Mbappe 2 shots on target. He didn't even get 1. Again, unfortunate. Rodrigo didn't start, but I did have I switched him and added an added play for Rodrigo to go higher than 3 shots. Or started Vinicius. He ended with 3, so that was a push. I also added Jared Bowen to go higher than 2.5 shots, so that one hit and then I also had another added play that as I'm making this video is still going, and that's Benteke to go higher than 3 shots, and as I'm making this video he has 2. I also had Calendar, the Inter Miami keeper, to go higher than 3 saves. He was benched. I kind of thought Miami could have rotated their squad, but I didn't expect them to because they're close to beating that record for most points in a season. But they did didn't start him and started their bench keeper, and he hit this prop with like 6 saves. So if he would have started, this one would have hit as well. They caught Teller 0.5 shots on target, didn't hit. And then the 2 money lines, Burnley money line, I knew the defense was gonna hold tight. They just couldn't score. Was sad it was 0-0. And the Inter Milan second half money line would have hit. They were literally winning, and then they conceded a penalty with 4 minutes to go. So I just feel like it was a lot of bad luck, which is still on my end. I felt like the reads were there, but the players couldn't come through. But either way, I provided the pick, so that's on me. And I will obviously, with these next picks, try to do a lot better. I usually never have back-to-back bad days, and if I do, you guys know that when I have consistently bad days, when it comes to 2 or 3 bad days, I always do a giveaway for y'all. So if I have another horrible day tomorrow, you know what it's time for a giveaway. I don't want to just provide these. Obviously, I'm not providing these bad picks on purpose. If I do have any more added plays, I will add them in the pinned comment in the YouTube video. I don't have any work in the morning or not until like late night, so I will have more time to be able to add those plays. So I should have more as more plays come out, because not all the games are up. So again, they will be in the pinned comment. But other than that, I really appreciate everybody for watching this video. We'll come through. We'll have a better day tomorrow. So hopefully you guys have a good night, a good day, and we can cash out tomorrow.